Okay. Okay, yeah. So we were talking about made without instructions.
Yeah, just really saying it is about what we feel that you don't know what you're doing, but
Yeah,
just keep going in a way.
yeah.
So I think it's quite positive, actually.
It's quite robotic as well, like you say. It's
Yeah.
got that sort of robotic
Yeah,
feel into it.
at the end particularly.
Yeah,
all the echoes, all the echoes.
Are we really human? Are we AI?
Yeah.
Are we artificially, conceived by aliens or whatever, or God? Who knows? We're made without instructions.
Yeah.
Are we a mistake? Is it a
divine intervention?
I was talking to this guy the other day, and he was pretty down, and he said, oh, life was really bad for him. He said, sometimes he said, I think this life is just like must be a preparation for something better in the future. And I said, well, that's a nice idea, but who knows? Because he was lost. He definitely didn't. He's lost his instructions.
Yeah, so just to mention that Rob is also a psychotherapist, and so as a musician, as a psychotherapist, he does have a unique insight. He's had years of experience, so that does inform what he does. So that's okay to say.
Well, yeah,
it's true.
But
I'd
also say, even though Karen is not qualified as such, I'd say she has more insight than most other therapists I've talked to be honest. You have great insight, a personal insight, just through your practice and your life and the way that you just see life as it is, So well done.
Well, and I'm sure it's the same over there, but the mental health counselors are just, there's a number of them, and all of them are absolutely busy, and it's hard to
huge, massive problems at the moment.
Same here. Yeah.
So many problems in this world trying to be diagnosed that
Yeah.
I
try and keep it down to, at the moment, it's about 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, think about the stress on those individuals that are trying to put some kind of understanding out there and explain situations that people are going through. It's
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, in some ways, I would say that
head off to you. I mean, that's
absolutely. I mean, he's a really amazing counselor, and I think that the music and the words for me, because of my own interactions with the mental health system and my own life story, my music and my words and my poetry were the thing that kept me going. In fact, they would save my life on many occasions. And other musicians' work. I'm telling you, through your teens, without that music from the 70s and 80s, with everything that was going on, I definitely. Well, it gave you your own world, I think. I mean, I was a David Bowie fan from the word up, and I was, as soon as I saw him, I thought, this man is just a stellar creature. I was totally in love. I was a Bowie freak, and I have remained that all my life, because I find his work. He's an artist. He was a total, complete artist, and I love that. You see, so. Yeah, that inspired me and continues to inspire me. I think.
Yeah. And as you say, Mark, that music from, well, I suppose from the sort of late 60s then into the early 70s. And then for me, around about mid 70s, I think prog for me got a little bit too sort of big and bloated. But some of the early bands, and I prefer the term progressive music, which I think started in the early 70s. Because it seemed to be a much more contain. You could basically experiment and do anything, without any constraint.
No labels.
And that's what I loved originally. I mean, for me, it was King Crimson. I think was the band that really, first of all, thought, "Wow, what is this?"
Well, and Zappa, but
and
that's
Zappa, but that's and Zappa was kind of always there a little bit before that, but with sort of Hot Rats, I think was the first one I'd heard. But those bands really informed us. So Made Without Instructions has got a lot of depth to it. That one,
Listen to the words.
Definitely. Listen to the words, please. I mean, if you get the CD, there's I don't know if you got it there, Karen. Can you just get the thing out? I want to show you this. That's no
Not
the
that bit.
poster.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
stuck.
It's stuck. Oh my God.
Yeah, don't rush me. Don't rush me.
Okay. Yeah. On one side, it's like a small poster, which is like a snakes and ladders thing. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
Okay. And then on the back, you've got all the lyrics. So yeah, if anyone out there wants to get a CD, we've got a few left. All the lyrics are on there. I think some of them are on the Bandcamp page, but not all of them. But yeah.
And that's something about, and I shouldn't say this because I'm sure there's people from the newer generations that do sit and listen to the lyrics, but from our generation, that was
it was the thing.
Absolutely.
Opening the gatefold and reading the lyrics, Genesis, and that. Oh, this is magic. You know?
Yeah. And so if you're young and new to it, definitely do this. You'll
do it.
You'll find a lot out there. You'll learn a lot from people that do have experience and have been there for a while.
Thank you.
Baby wants freedom, and don't we all?
Oh, that was a difficult one to get together. We tried doing it first of all, and then I said, well, I like the vocal, but I want to change the drums and the bass. And Paul and John, it keeps changing time and it's quite fragmented. I can't do it. So I thought, okay, we'll do it more as a sort of not acoustic, but there's no drums on it. And I played a little bit of bass on it, but it's generally sort of guitar and synth sounds. And that song really then developed, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, baby wants freedom. It can mean like a baby, a child. I think there's also the inner child, whatever you want to call it, in the psycho Babal world.
Yeah.
But there's always this feeling that you're reforming all the time. You're like a baby all the time, I think.
And then there's the political
and there's the political angle of it, because at the time, I think it was at the time of the election before, when we almost had a Labour government, but then we got the Tories back in, and I just felt like we were going up and down. Baby wants freedom, baby wants a ride, give me a go, you know, and I'm going up and down. And so and it's very repetitive, and I was worried about this track because I kept thinking, oh, there's too many verses in it, it's just too much. But actually, quite a few people have said to me, this builds up, and by the end of it, you're on this. It's really okay, because that was the doubt for me. And I tried to make the lyrics and the build as much as part of it as everything else. But it was a challenge to do this without drums, and that was probably why I was worried. But I think it works well.
I think I really like that track and how it came out.
And a lot of people like it
because it sounds it just sounds different. Yeah, different to what we usually kind of do.
I think the lines I loved singing was the fun of the scream as democracy dies. I absolutely love that line, and so I repeated it quite a lot. And I thought, oh God, people think I'm ultimately depressing, but it isn't. Really, it's saying, look, this is what's happening.
This is basically
open your
what's
eyes.
Happening. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
That's big.
Doors is my favorite song. I do hear the Doors, and I know you didn't have keyboards, but it does sound a little bit like Ray Manzanero.
I think, I love Ray Manzanero.
And I know the concept of opening the doors was in a book before the Doors, discovered it.
Yeah.
But tell us, is there some crossover there, or is it something completely different?
Yeah, no. I mean, doors are just, as you say, in every ancient culture, in every wisdom teaching, they talk about doors and paths.
Doors of perception.
The doors of
the doors of perception.
Blake. So I think that's going to come up. If you're an artist, then you're always thinking of entrances, exits, mazes, circles, places that have got meaning. Doorways always do. For me, it was about being stuck at one point, stuck in a door, stuck in a swing door.
Stuck in the swing door of life.
Stuck in the swing door of life. When I kept at one point in my life, I felt like I was just going round and round. And so for me, it was like saying, I don't want doors anymore. I don't want them. Forget doors. There are no doors.
There should not be any restrictions in that respect.
Yeah. So in a way that, there is a feeling of letting go of all the restrictions. Yeah. Letting go of the things that normal people consider where you've got to play by the rules.
Yeah, and not so much. I mean, obviously we need laws and rules, but the restrictions that we're put on us as in society, like, oh yeah, you grow up, get a good job, you get married, 2.3 kids, nice house, couple of nice holidays, nice car. Hey, we've made it, you know? And it's like trying to let go of all that stuff. It's nice to have those things, but there's more to life than just, you know, materialistic stuff, really. And that's, I think that was another aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of anger in it as well. I think I'm quite angry in it, and blow the flames out, run for cover. It's like, I've had enough. Sometimes you just want to blow things up. And I've always had a lot of acceptance of that in society, that you can't expect people to behave well when they're treated badly. That's not to excuse it.
No.
But I do think there's this ridiculous assumption that you've got to keep doing it our way. Well, people don't always do that. And when they're pushed to the limit, they don't. They blow things up. And I think it's really important to give that a voice. So for me, it's about that. Yeah.
On our side of the ocean here, I looked at it. There was a huge, with the past president, huge emphasis on building walls and blockading people and keeping people out. You're kind of saying, tear that stuff down, you know, tear that down. Let's, you know, open the door. Let's talk to each other.
Yes.
Well, that's because yes, we definitely have fundamental philosophical differences, but in the end, you know, we're all living in the same country. We're all partaking, you know, similar things. Overall, we can find some commonalities so that we can exist, you know, so that we can at least exist.
There's no alternative, is there? The alternative is destruction.
Prevent the violence. That's
violence. Yeah.
Because I feel myself, I'm a pacifist by nature, but you know, if you don't stand up for things, people walk over you. There's also that, isn't there? It's a very, very difficult thing to actually to sing about, because I always think I want to say it, but I want to say also, well, hang on, we don't have to destroy things. But like you say, we got to live together. And
all right, now the big question, who will I be when I leave? It's got sort of a Pink Floyd opening to it, or sound to it, which is great. And very introspective, personal discovery. Tell us about it. I mean, where do we get, there's a couple other bands that have made some albums over there in England about where do we go.
It seems to be in the zeitgeist. This thing definitely about where are we going. I mean, after the sort of 80s, the harmonic convergence and all the new age stuff. I've read a million new age books. There is this feeling now that, hey, you know, I've lived that, I've done that, I've been in the cult, I've got the t-shirt. You know, what do we actually, who will I be? Will I be at all? And after having cancer, this song particularly, I wanted to write about what I felt at 3 o'clock in the morning in a hospital ward when there was no one coming, and I wasn't going to see a friendly face until the next day. And I really did face my own death. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I was given an almost 50-50. So for me, I wanted to do it in a song that wasn't sad, but it had a questing feeling. And it was also quite, I wanted some beauty in it. And when I got to the bit where it's, the bit I loved doing is the bit in the middle. Let the light bright and then vanish, touch your inner sky. It's almost like medieval monks. I had this feeling of chanting and monks, and that sort of stayed with me, because I don't believe in, I'm an agnostic. I'm open to anything if it presents itself. And I wanted to sort of get that feeling in without being negative and say, this has gone through my mind and it will continue until I leave. So it's very repetitive. Who will I be when I leave? It goes on because it's the question I wake up with, and it's the question I go to bed with. That's my.
I think also on
I think
another.
We all do. Yeah.
I was going to say, on another context, it's like status. You know, a lot of people are hung up on their status, and suddenly maybe they lose their job, or they retire, or whatever. Something happens, and oh, who am I now? You know, it's the standard thing. You know, you go to some parties. I never answer this question. Oh, what do you do? You know, let's just talk about who we are. And, you know, why do you want to know that? Because it's about being in a hierarchy. But you know, there's that whole thing of, you know, we sometimes, you know, we form ourselves on, oh yeah, I'm a musician, or I'm an accountant, or whatever, you know. But what happens if I can't play anymore? You know, would I still be me?
Yeah.
So there's all those bits as well, you know. So it takes on a lot of different aspects. Yeah,
I love that. I do love, and I love the beginning. I love that feeling of that the song sort of takes a while to settle in, and you're not quite sure where it's going to go, and then the voice comes in, and I thought it was a fitting end to the you know, to me, to the end of the album,
and for the name of the album too. It just right, you know, and then the picture on the front there, you've probably seen the cover.
Yes.
This was a rail track not far from us, when we're standing on this railway bridge above. It's just a pedestrian bridge, an old, very old bridge, and the track is just like goes off into infinity, doesn't it?
I just wanted to say quickly, on the back, there's a picture of me on a railway line. It's our nearest railway line, just literally 5 minutes from where we live. And the picture here of me thumbing a lift to then nowhere or wherever I'm going, that picture was taken about 3 weeks after I got my diagnosis for cancer. And it was Boxing Day, and we decided to go down to the railway station. I said, I just want to take some pictures, because I feel like I'm about to take an incredible journey, and I haven't got a clue
where you're going,
what's happening. So I'm just thumbing a lift, basically. So that was the story of the picture.
The story of the picture. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably part of I don't know, because the album before it was like a similar sort of context. That was called Spirit in a Meat Suit, and again, that was right in the middle of the cancer years. Interestingly, a lot of the vocals that you did on the album previously were done either just before you got the diagnosis or just after, and you just sang all these things. And then Karen was basically in hospital for, you know, virtually on and off for a year. So I'd be at home, you know, in bits, and I'd have all these Karen's voices. So that's where all the music came from then, and reconstructed it all. But again, it's quite a dark album, but it's got light and shade to it as well.
Well, yeah, and also if you didn't know any of this and you picked the album up, you'd make your own completely different thing. And it's not important to know our story in some ways. We're only saying it because, you know, we're getting to know you. It's nice to be able to say where it came from, but I think it stands with that. You just pick it up. I think these are questions we ask, all of us. If we don't, then we're asleep.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, what is next for Babal, or, you know, solo work, or go ahead?
Well, today was a good start. Today was a great start. As I say, John came up from Bristol, and Paul came over from Worcester, and we hadn't been together and played together like that for about a year.
Not together, altogether. No.
Not altogether. So we got together, and immediately there was some fantastic stuff coming out. So I know we've got to go back in the next day or so and listen to that.
Really look at it.
And just, you know, but the magic was still there. So I think, again, we've got another jumping off point for more material. But what we want to do, as I said, we do want to play live, select gigs where, we're going to have to be careful where we play. But I feel that, you know, that it's just getting back to that place, the rehearsals, getting back into that groove again. So, that's what we're hoping.
Well, it's a weird one in a way, because just before that hit us in 2018, we had a great band. It was really starting to move forwards, and it's like, wham.
That's life.
That's
life.
You know, and a bit like, I guess, again, that's a bit like the album. You know, what do I do now?
You need to slow it down.
It's right. The plans have gone out the window. So it's like,
next plan.
We've done a lot of music, but we've got to kind of like push ourselves back up into the live stuff again, you know, and get the band up and running, and usually bring a couple more guest musicians in as well. People know generally.
Do you want to announce any of those or not yet?
Not yet, because we haven't got any finalized as yet, but it's something we're working towards.
Yeah.
So
well, there's a couple. There's one, there's Smoking with the Devil is pretty much finished.
Oh yeah, it is. Yes. Yes.
That was one we've been working on. It's not just the joys of smoking, is it?
No, it's not about
we
that.
do anyway, not some non-smokers, but yeah, there's a couple coming together, and also I Want to Be Radical.
I Want to Be Radical,
which is a bit of a anthemic.
Speaks for itself, doesn't it? Really, but yeah.
So it's coming together, Mark. Yeah, I think that's what's going to keep us occupied over the winter months. I think so. You know, be locking ourselves away in our studio. I think. I mean, you know, we're pretty prolific. That's the word I want. You know, it's always stuff coming out. You know, whether it's Karen's always writing, well, poems basically, aren't they? They come as pieces of poetry, and then obviously you can change them. So we're always doing stuff. So that, you know, it was nice today to really get, we've really got a shot in the arm. We got almost like, well, we recorded over an hour and a half worth of stuff. Wow. And there's some really good stuff in there that we can pull out and work on, you know, which is exciting, wasn't it? It's like, you know, it felt like, whoa, we came out and said, oh yeah, we feel 10 years younger after doing that. You know? It's just really
you've been through. Yeah, definitely. That great day.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, you know, it'd be lovely if we could give you something a little bit more concrete, but that's the truth of it at the moment. But you know, we're getting there, and the album has really given us that push. As I say, it's really given us more of a global hearing market. A lot of people are picking up on it. There's a good vibe about it, and that's what we want to keep prolonging now. And I'm hoping then, because see, basically that's another thing. I mean, you know, we've been with Nick Catone on Melodic Revolution Records now since 2015 or 2016, since the Circle of Confusion.
2015, I think.
2015, Circle of Confusion and Tones. He's done about 3 albums and 2 albums with him now. So that's going to be ongoing. So before that, but you see, it's before that, and also with Nick, it's very much quite we've always been very, very independent, but because of that, and we've never, you know, we've always kind of, I've had loads of dealings in the past with record companies and managers and other bands. I just about had enough of it. I thought, let's just do this our way and we'll see what happens. And it's not the most instant music, and no one's going to say, oh yeah, guys, that's a hit, I want to sign you up. We just steer our own path and we'll see where we go. We've never been interested in, whoa, success. It's lovely that people are getting to hear us, of course, but we've never really been like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to sell ourselves to make it. It's, for us, it's making the music. And if there's people who want to come along for the ride, that's magic, you know, that you can join us for the ride. And we really love that. But we're not going to sort of, you know, hoodwink you and you know, just play a 3-minute pop song. It is what it is. And we've always been very independent, but with this one, yeah, it's had a much bigger push. And like yourself, you know, a lot of people have never heard of us because we've always been quite under the radar. And unless, you know, sort of just our own site or just a few people putting it out, a few people have been putting out blogs. And of course, as you know, at the end of the day, we're just another band, and there's thousands of bands, thousands of great bands out there. I mean, that's one thing amazing at the moment. You know, people say, oh, you know, music's dead and there's nothing much happening now.
There's loads of music.
Oh, there's so much out there. And I'm sure, you know, where you're at, you've seen that, hear that. So, you know, but yeah, we've always kind of been, you know, independent as such, and we've got a great working relationship with Nick, but, you know, yeah, it is what it is. But this one is kind of making the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Very pleased.
And we love making videos as well. And if you go onto YouTube, there's a Babal, I don't know what you call it, you know, a list. There's about 35 videos.
Yeah, there's about 35 videos.
Some lives, some that we've done, you know, with green screen and stuff. But yeah,
and I'll include some of those with this interview.
Oh, great.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Please, so that people can go to them. Yeah, they're interesting.
I mean, that's another skill of Karen. She's great at video editing. You know, you take a long time over that.
Yeah, I'm inspired by Gothic German cinema and old movies.
Yeah.
So basically, because I love cinema and I just love the visual. And I think music, to me, I hear music and I see pictures.
Yeah, and also surreal. So I mean, a lot of the videos tend to be
surreal,
quite surreal, a bit off the wall. People sometimes don't get that. Think, well, you know, it's quite a serious song. Why are you know? It's not being silly. It's just kind of just giving it a surreal aspect.
It's absurd, isn't it?
It's absurdism.
If you watch the Marx Brothers, which I love, they're mad and they're crazy and they make no sense. But my God, they make me laugh. And when I'm down, when I had cancer, I had Marx Brothers films on all the time. I mean, they just, Groucho got me through it, mate. He really did.
No, they are wonderful. Definitely. Marx yeah. They turn the elite upside down.
They do.
Definitely.
Is there anything else that you guys wanted to discuss which I haven't covered?
No, I think we've sort of gone through most things. I mean, it's just lovely to have the opportunity to sit and talk and think about it and just sort of just say, this is what this is about, which, don't do that often.
No.
And I'm a little bit distanced from it because once I do an album, I tend not to listen to it for a while because I've had to listen to it so much to do the production. But actually, last night we were listening to it again, and because we were doing this interview, and I thought, actually, this is great. I want to talk about this.
So thank you for the opportunity, Mark.
Indeed.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your day. I know you guys.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Obviously, you're busy working on new stuff and everything, but definitely, thank you very much. I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to discuss this.
No, thank you.
Discuss your new album with us on Progressive Rock Central, and we'll do it again. If the new one's out, I'd be happy to do it. And
Fantastic, Mark, and have a great day.
Yeah, have a good day by the sea.
Yeah.
All right,
have a good day by the sea.
Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and talk a little bit. But again, thank you very much, Babal.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.